All right, guys, the Utah Jazz get a really nice win against the New York Knicks. This is the Hoops Nerd post-game show. Let's talk about it. Let's first talk about the Knicks, then let's talk about the Jazz. But first, let's get our intro in here. What am I doing? Okay, guys, really nice win for the Utah Jazz tonight. Getting a I was paying attention to this one screen. I forgot to switch over back to when I go live. Anyways, nice win for the Jazz against the New York Knicks, who have, honestly, one of those teams that I think if you're a Knicks fan watching this, I have to think that you're probably pretty disappointed with this season compared to last year. Last year was a lot of fun for Knicks fans. And this year has been kind of a drop off, I think mostly with the play of Julius Randle. You have a night like tonight against the Jazz, who were down Mike Conley and Bojan Bogdanovic, and you think that maybe it's an opportunity for Randle to be pretty big for them, and he goes 6 for 21 from the field. Just not great. I mean, 11 rebounds, 3 assists. I like Julius Randle's game. He's just having a down year, and it makes you wonder if last season was more of the outlier than of the norm. We'll see. But I do like what he brings. But man, when he's shooting 28% from the field and he needs to be their best player like he was last year to really kind of take them to the next level. And he just really hasn't been all year. And we know this, kind of the story of the season for the Knicks has really just been the inability to like hold leads. Tonight they did get it within like 5 at one point in the fourth quarter, and the Jazz have had at least in terms of the clutch play have not been super impressive this year. So there was kind of a moment there where maybe you thought the Knicks might do something, and they did not. And Donovan Mitchell, closed the door and won this game for the Jazz. There's not a lot else to say with this Knicks team. I'm just sorry. I'm just feel bad for Knicks fans. This Knicks team has really just kind of underperformed this year and been pretty disappointing, and so it's too bad. Just a few guys I like. RJ Barrett recently has looked really good for them. Tonight he had 24 points, and he had moments tonight where he looked really good. 7 rebounds, 3 assists. He's a guy they can really build on and can be a cornerstone player for them. I don't know if he's like a superstar number one option on like a championship level team, but he might be a 2 or 3. They just need to find a few more guys. And obviously the rumors are out there about Donovan Mitchell and his hometown and the Knicks wanting Donovan Mitchell. And it seems like every other day you have some guy writing a rumor piece about the Knicks wanting Mitchell. And who knows where those rumors come from? If they come from Mitchell himself, I mean, maybe. But I more likely think it's someone from Donovan Mitchell's friends group, family. Likely it's someone family member because Donovan Mitchell's from New York. He's got family in New York, and I wouldn't be surprised if people there do talk, and that's where some of those things come from. But who knows? You never know. After everything that happened with Gordon Hayward, I'm never gonna just like throw out rumors. Now, some of these rumors, you've got to wonder if they're real. Some of them have come from legitimate guys. Like I think Howard Beck talked about it at one point. They're not just like these randos from Clutch Points just going out there for clicks. Sometimes it's from legitimate writers. Mark Stein, I can't remember if Mark Stein did, but Howard Beck mentioned it at one point. So it means someone's saying something. Whether it's got legs, I don't know. The thing that you got to remember is Mitchell has like 3 years left on his contract or something like that. And it's a max. And if the Jazz can get Donovan Mitchell to all NBA, then he can get a supermax, and that gives Utah an advantage. And honestly, this Knicks team has been so disappointing. I mean, I don't know. The thing is, here's the thing. It's not even really a possibility for another 2-3 years. And if Mitchell, like let's say Donovan Mitchell demanded a trade, I guess that's the thing that Knicks fans are hoping for, is that Donovan Mitchell demands a trade from Utah. Well, Utah's winning. That means he's going to request or demand a trade from a winning situation. I know this season has been semi-disappointing for the Jazz just because they were the 1 seed last year and now they're the 4 seed. So it's just inherently not quite as good as last year. They're still a winning team. It's a winning situation. It's a team that has done everything they can to make Donovan Mitchell happy. Brought in Eric Paschall, one of his best friends, to be on the team. They kind of do everything they can to make Donovan Mitchell happy. That Dwayne Wade's in the ownership group, and it sounds like he's trying to help out to make sure this situation is happy for Mitchell. And honestly, the Jazz do everything they can to win every night. And so if Donovan Mitchell demanded a trade out of Utah, it would honestly be pretty. It wouldn't be great for his image, to be honest. I mean, yeah, he would be going home, but you're asking out of a max contract at the beginning of the contract to go to the Knicks. And by the way, the other thing is Utah brings in Danny Ainge. If you think that Danny Ainge is going to just do whatever, and this is all hypotheticals. My point, Donovan Mitchell's not going to do this, right? Like this, it's not going to happen. But I'm just talking about if it did. Like, let's say, the Lightning strikes and Mitchell demands a trade out of Utah, which he's just shown zero signs of wanting to do. Zero. Danny Ainge is not just going to trade him to the Knicks. Like, you would have a situation like what happened with Ben Simmons in Philly. Like, Danny Ainge would do what's best for the Jazz. He's not out there to just like make that happen. And so, it just doesn't make sense. It would just not happen. And if it did, it would go badly for Donovan Mitchell, at least now. Maybe in the final year they would do something, but I just don't see that happening. And Utah's got all the advantages right now. They're a winning situation. They have a chance to get him to All-NBA, which he likely will get this year. And he can get a Supermax. And so all the advantages are with the Jazz. And the Jazz this offseason coming up are just going to retool things to be around Donovan Mitchell's strengths. So he's had nothing but everything everything is customized for Donovan Mitchell's happiness here. The advantage in New York is it's his hometown and family there and things like that. So there is an advantage for New York that it's his hometown. But it's really just kind of a rumor, and that's really all it is. It's not something that's going to happen. It's just like a lot of them, like, this is why I'm talking about it, because it is something that has been mentioned. If it's Clutch Points or one of these click blogs, I don't give it a lot of attention. They're just randos on the internet who get, like, I write for SLC Dunk. We don't make money based off of clicks. Like, me and my writers, we don't make extra money based off of clicks. We have contracts. We're just supposed to write a certain amount. And so it makes, honestly, I feel like it makes better articles because you write about the things that you're interested in and that are compelling. You're not just writing something for clicks like someone at Clutch Points. At Clutch Points, they have contracts, but they also get paid per click beyond that. And if their clicks go beyond the goal, then they make extra money. And so guys like that are going to write articles that they know will get clicks. They will make more money. That's why you see so much LeBron James stuff. LeBron James stuff just gets these guys clicks. It just does. That's why LeBron James dominates all the Blogiverse and YouTube and all these guys, because once they get to a certain level and they get a certain algorithm bump, whether it's Google, YouTube, or whatever, they get extra money. And so that's why a guy who's writing about the Knicks, what are they going to do? They're going to search Google Trends. They're going to see who's getting most clicks, and Donovan Mitchell is the thing there. And so they're going to write about it. So if it was just like the Clutch Points bloggers and guys like that, I wouldn't pay too much of attention to it. But we have seen someone like Howard Beck mention it. So it's something to keep an eye on. I don't think it's really something to worry about, at least now, because he is under contract. But it is something to just keep an eye on. And a lot of the times with these rumors, guys, you've got to talk about like the motivations. We live in a world today with media and news where everyone has motivations. These someone tweeted, I can't remember. I really wish I saved it because it was one of the smartest tweets I've ever seen. But someone on Twitter talked about how like a lot of these reporters aren't really reporters anymore. They're like news gateways. They're like breaking news hoarders, and they talk like certain beat writers with certain organizations. We know who they are with the Jazz and guys that have ins with like the front offices and agents. Agents, by the way, are huge for this stuff. If anything, agents are the biggest news creators out there. They're like these gateways, and you have a GM who might talk to a reporter and want a story leaked for one reason. For example, here's an example. Jody Genessee, who used to be a beat writer for the Jazz, he doesn't do it anymore. I know for a fact, he was a guy that would talk with Dennis Lindsey, and Dennis Lindsey would like leak things to him here and there. they don't do it very often. GMs honestly don't leak info to beat writers very often. It's not very often because what do they get out of it? They don't really get a lot out of it. But there are situations where they get it. And I guess ironically with this conversation, I know there was a situation where the Jazz kind of leaked some info to Jody Genessy during draft night. It was Donovan Mitchell's draft night. And what it was that they let Jody Genessy know that they were willing to make a trade. So if you go to Jody Gennessy's Twitter on that night, you'll see that he mentioned that the Jazz are taking trade offers or something like that. That comes from like a Jazz GM. Why? Because he wants other GMs to see it. And he wants to create some sort of bidding war. It worked. Because what happens that night? Denver called Utah about the trade. It really, I mean, I could be wrong, but I believe from people I've talked to that was the way it went. Like, they called us and wanted to make the trade because they wanted to trade back for someone. And I can't remember who it was. The Jazz were like, yeah. And they trade up and draft Donovan Mitchell. So that was an example of when a GM leaks to a reporter and something happens. And that's like breaking news. But it's breaking news that a GM wanted to be broken, right? You know, you could talk about political news, whether it's like someone who's working in politics in the White House lets out some information because they want to maybe hurt someone else in politics or something like that. It's kind of the same idea. People will break news because they get something out of it. And that was an example of the Jazz doing a really good job of letting a beat writer know what they're interested in. Jody Genessy tweets that. We see it with Woj all the time. Like, he'll tweet a thing and it's like to save face for a GM. Sometimes a GM will do that. They'll leak information to explain, this is why we did this move. And it's like a small little like, hey, stop giving us a hard time. This is why we did it. You know, that type of thing. It's usually to save face or maybe like speak to other GMs. Literally with GMs, there's times where they don't like have an ability to talk to other GMs, whether it's politics between teams or whatever. They will leak things so that certain teams can talk to each other. And literally in a situation where, like, you know, maybe it's like, because like on draft day, you have so many things going on and so many conversations and so many talks, whether it's internally or externally, you know, you don't always have time to like literally call every single team in front of you because things change immediately. Let's say a team makes a pick you don't foresee, you know, and all of a sudden that opens up some possibilities and things like that. You don't always have time. So if you leak to a beat writer, it allows other GMs to see that or people that work with them to say, hey, look, this is what the Jazz are saying. Let's talk to them. And it's like fishing in a way, you know? So that's an example of it. But the other thing, Audrey's barking at somebody. The other thing you've got to take into account with leaks, and it happens way more often this way, is with agents. Agents are like, I would say like all these leaks is like 70 to 80% Comber. So shorter videos, huh? No, that ain't happening. Anyways, back to the conversation. This is riveting stuff for everyone, I'm sure. But agents are probably like 80-90% of the news creator, right? Because they've got a lot to gain out of these things. If, let's say, hypothetically, and I don't believe this, I don't think it's true, I don't think Donovan Mitchell wants to force his way out at all. Whether, you know, free agency comes around, we'll see how that goes, because next free agency is the interesting one for Mitchell because it's unrestricted. So that's going to be could get interesting. But right now he's under contract. But anyways, let's say it's free agency period. And we start seeing these news stories. Oh, Donovan Mitchell has interest in New York, or Donovan Mitchell has interest in speaking with Miami or something like that. Who do you think's leaking those things? It's the agent. It's the agent. The agent is leaking it. Why? Why would an agent leak stuff like that? Well, it's to put pressure. Literally, this might be to put pressure on this could be from Mitchell, possibly, or Mitchell's agent. Why? Because what it does is it keeps pressure on the Jazz, right? Because if they, let's say the Jazz just get kind of laid back, lackadaisical, they decide we're good enough, we're not worried about, like, what if Donovan Mitchell's like, you know what? This team is not making enough moves to win the title. I want to win a title. Let's figure something out. And the agent's probably like, all right, I got an idea. Let's say something that makes the Jazz feel a little fire under their seat to make sure that they don't just sit back and decide to like trade a core piece or do something like that that might take a step back. They want to win. So what are we going to do? Oh, let's just leak that Donovan Mitchell likes New York. Oh, let's just leak that Donovan Mitchell, the Knicks are interested in Donovan Mitchell. Something like that. Why? Well, because it might put a fire under the Jazz and say, hey, we can't just take a step back. We've got to make sure that we're winning because Donovan Mitchell wants to win. And if you want to keep Donovan Mitchell happy, you better keep winning, right? That's a scenario where I could see it. And there's lots of situations like that. We saw it with Rudy Gobert, with his free agency. There were things going on and rumors out there. Those rumors come from agents, guys, because agents do meet with teams and sometimes that leaks. And sometimes it's just agents saying, hey, you better give Rudy Gobert every single dollar or this team is interested. Those are like reasons they'll leak. And that comes to the Jazz and it puts a fire under you. And guess what? Rudy got his contract. So you could argue that it worked. Same thing's going to happen with Donovan Mitchell. Like, get used to it. It's going to keep happening. Whether it's from Donovan Mitchell or not, whether it's just, the other thing is it could just be beat writers and New York GMs saying it. Honestly, just GMs saying it because one, they want to create a stir of some sort and force, if the Knicks can like create contention with the Jazz and get Donovan Mitchell to request out, that's a win for them. And the other reason is too, it's been a sucky season for Knicks fans. Like it's a sucky year. Having like hope that you can get Donovan Mitchell gives you something to root for, right? So it could just literally come from the GM, from like the front office at the Knicks too. Just to like give them some hope, like, hey, this is the guy we're going to go after, blah, blah, blah. And it creates talking points that aren't the Knicks suck this year, So it is what it is. You're just going to have to get used to it because it's just how the NBA works, leaks and media. To me, I find it fascinating. To me, it's interesting. I don't know. It's always, to me, I'm always like, it's kind of fun to think where this comes from and why and what's the motivation and blah, blah, blah. You can usually kind of connect the dots a little bit. And to me, this either comes from a Knicks GM, maybe someone from Mitchell's family. 1% chance it's from 1 or 2% chance it's from Mitchell. More likely it's maybe Mitchell's agent. Very low. Here's the percentage chance of who it is. 1% Donovan Mitchell. 5% Donovan Mitchell's agency. So that's 6%. The other 40%, what's the math here? 40% Knicks GM. So that's 46, 54% a beat writer trying to get clicks. Right? Something like that. That's my guess. Anyways, that's all I got to talk about that. I don't know. I think it's important to talk about because that's the storyline, because the Knicks suck and there's not really a lot to say about the Knicks. The Jazz, speaking of Donovan Mitchell, he was incredible tonight. Donovan Mitchell goes 11 for 22 or 11 for 21, 52% from the field, 36 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 7 for 12 from 3, 58%. He was absolutely nuclear tonight. 7 for 7 from the free throw line. And look at this, only 3 turnovers for Donovan. This is like MVP level numbers. Unbelievable stuff. And we're getting to the point where we're just getting used to Donovan Mitchell putting up just monster scoring numbers. He's at 25.9 now. I'm not quite sure. Let's go to leaders in scoring. Let's see. Let's just go regular season right now. Points per game. Let's see. Oh, how come I can't sort this? Looks like it is. Well, let's see. That's weird, guys. Normally I'm able to filter this. But anyways, I guess it's filtered already by scoring. Donovan Mitchell, number 11 in the league in scoring, 25.9. After tonight, he might bump up to like 9 or 10. Look at who's he's in the same league as right here. Nikola Jokic, Jason Tatum, Ja Morant. You get Donovan Mitchell up into this range, into the 28 to 30 range. All of a sudden, he's getting more All-NBA talk every single night. And this is something we've talked about and why tonight is kind of exciting. you got to get him more touches. You've got to get Donovan Mitchell the ball more often because, one, he's a superstar and he's absolutely incredible. Tonight, Donovan Mitchell does all this with Nickeil Alexander-Walker, newly acquired, and Juancho Hernan-Gomez in the starting unit. And at no point did anyone say, man, I wish Bojan Bogdanovic was playing, because Donovan Mitchell was in complete control. And I know it's the Knicks, but this is impressive stuff. And New York actually came out. If you watch that first quarter, like Evan Fournier hit some shots to start the game. The Knicks had like a hot hand, and at no point was Donovan Mitchell rattled. He just controls the game and wins it. He's just incredible. And if you can get this scoring average, like we said, into this range, like what if you get Donovan Mitchell to 30 points per game? If he was the number one scorer in the league this year, you don't think he wouldn't be getting some MVP buzz and things like that? It's important that the Jazz continue to put Donovan Mitchell in this position to have just a monster scoring year. Like, I think that in the next 3 years, Donovan Mitchell has potential to be the scoring champ, which would be amazing. And the Jazz really, I mean, speaking of like the Knicks and like going to the Knicks and things like that, the Jazz have to get Donovan Mitchell up into this scoring range. You just do. Because if you can get him here, you can offer him a supermax, and that makes you more likely to keep him. You know, is Donovan Mitchell really going to turn down $200-something million? That's a lot of money to turn down in a winning situation at a place that adores and loves you. And, you know, and I know Utah has all these issues and problems that are going on that are frustrating that, you know, hopefully get better over time. And I actually think Donovan Mitchell has had an incredibly positive impact on this state, and he's doing real great work here. And the thing is like, it's like $200-something million. You know, it's like 5 years, insane money. And guess what? Here's another thing. Yeah, short YouTube videos ain't happening on the Jazz channel. That'll happen on the NBA channel. Not on this one. I think this is just gonna be what it is. But anyways, speaking of money, like, you can give Donovan Mitchell a supermax and he can demand a trade after that, right? So here's the thing. Here's my prediction. What will happen with Donovan Mitchell, or at least what should happen. And I'm predicting it because I want to like speak it into existence. Sorry. You need to get Donovan Mitchell to like 29 points per game. So he's up here with Joel Embiid, who's getting MVP talk. By the way, Andrew Streeter, 199. Thank you so much. We will talk about Royce. Royce took 10 threes. Fantastic stuff. I want to finish this thought on Donovan Mitchell. Thank you very much. Shooting Royce, I agree 100%. We will talk about that because the more Royce shoots, the better. But anyways, if you can get Donovan Mitchell up to here, you get him the supermax, then you can just say, hey, you know, demand a trade later if things go bad. Or, you know, if we decide that we need to tank or something like that, we'll do you a solid and we'll trade you to New York or to a place where you can win type thing, right? Isn't that kind of a negotiation you can make? You can say, hey, stay with us. You're going to get the more money than you can make anywhere else. You've already got the shoe deal. You're already like promoted like crazy. Yes, if you went to New York, you probably make a little bit more money with, you know, endorsements and things like that, which is no small thing, but you've already got those endorsements here. And by the way, we were the ones that drafted you over New York. They didn't want you. We did. Here's your money. Here's everything you want. You're already like in the 2K videos and the advertisements. You're the face of the Jazz on ESPN every night we play. You're a superstar. You just are. And guess what? You made all NBA here. You've made multiple all-star teams. Like, what else could you want? You know, a little bit more spotlight. Is it really that much more, honestly, in such a global game? And we live in a league pass era where everyone is on display. I mean, Ja Morant in Memphis is the big thing right now, and he's like been fantastic this year. It will cool off a little bit, you know, unless he just takes things to another level, which would be insane. But anyways, I just think Donovan Mitchell's going to re-sign here and take a supermax, but it depends on the Jazz giving him the ball. You have to give him the ball. You have to get Donovan Mitchell to I'm like the weatherman with stats. Up in this range, you have to get him up here. You have to get him up here, right? And if Donovan Mitchell's averaging like 29 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, that's some rarefied air. You know what I mean? And that's going to get you a supermax. It's going to give you a little MVP buzz here and there. It's going to give him everything he wants. And he can get a supermax. and the team will be good around him. So that's the Donovan Mitchell talk. He's fantastic. Jazz fans, here's what I will end with Donovan Mitchell talk. Appreciate him. He's incredible. He's unbelievable. He's everything that other teams tank for, and the Jazz have him. So, like, when I see people, like, blame Donovan Mitchell for stuff on Twitter, I'm like, you know what? Count your blessings, as we say here in the land of Utah. Count your blessings. It is a blessing to have Donovan Mitchell on the Jazz. He is unbelievable. It is hard to describe how unbelievable. He has a combination of everything an NBA scout wants. Athleticism, tools, skill, mindset, competitiveness. He's a great locker room guy. He's a great guy with the fans. You see him like playing rock, paper, scissors with kids in the stands. He's always signing shoes. He's always doing all these things. He's charity. He's a guy that's like incredible off the court. There is literally nothing about him that is not amazing. So just appreciate him. Don't badmouth him. Appreciate him. Buy his jersey. Buy his shoes. Appreciate Donovan Mitchell. That's all I could say. He's a superstar in every sense of the word. He's amazing. You can't appreciate him enough. He's amazing. Because Andrew Streeter with the donation, let's go through that vein really quick, because I did want to talk about Rudy as well. Royce O'Neale tonight did exactly what you wanted him to do. He was awesome. I think defensively, Royce O'Neale is an average defender, which this team is something you'll take. He's 6'4". He can't quite guard the quickest guards in the league very well, but he is strong, and he does work hard on the defensive end. The nice thing about Royce, and the thing that really does keep him on the starting unit, is this right here, the 4 for 10 shooting. This season, Royce O'Neale has been just fantastic shooting the ball. I'm not quite sure if it's his best season. I don't know if they'll show me here, and I don't want to pull it. Oh, they will. 3-point percentage. Look at this. He's having a career year shooting-wise. Unbelievable. Look at this. Every year, upper 30s, which is still great. If you're in this range, you're a great shooter. But 41% for the year. And we're coming in on the end of the year. So this is who he is this year. 41%. And like Andrew said, 10 threes is amazing. 40%. It's easy math. You shoot 10, you make 4. That's amazing. That's perfect. And here's the thing I wanted to mention. Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Juancho Hernan-Gomez made just as much an impact in some ways as you had with Mike Conley and Bojan Bogdanovic. Yes, Bojan Bogdanovic is a better shooter than Juancho Hernan-Gomez. He was 2 for 6 tonight, 33%. Honestly pretty decent. 33% from 3 is what is it? The true shooting, I can't remember, or effective field goal percentage. It is the same as shooting 50% from the field. So when Juancho Hernan-Gomez is in the corner shooting 33% from 3, that's the same as going 50% from the field, which is efficient. You'd like this to be a little bit better, but you'll take it. The thing that's amazing with Juancho, and that has been really exciting in a lot of ways, 3 steals tonight. I love it. It makes me so happy when he's on the floor. Why? Because he's bringing elements of things, and this is stuff we talked about pre-trade deadline, and another reason why Danny Ainge deserves an incredible amount of credit. Juancho Hernan-Gomez felt like a throw-in in that trade, by the way. Remember, everyone was talking about and Juancho's been pretty darn solid. 3 steals, 4 rebounds. What he does is he's big, long, and he's athletic. And you see that in the 3 steals. Let's just look for fun. I mean, this is stuff that you're not getting with Bojan Bogdanovic. But with Juancho, with his size and the effort. Look at that. He closes that lane and creates the steal. That's amazing. Let's see right here. I'm going down so I don't get demonetized. All right, come on. Get the next play. So here we go. Where's Juancho? He's up in the corner here. See how he closes that lane? I mean, that creates a bad passing lane for the... That's good. I don't want to get demonetized. Where's Juancho? Find Juancho. Here he's inside with Rudy. You've got 2 big bodies. Look at that. He just plays with... Did he make it? Oh, he gets fouled. Oh, that, by the way, was not nice of Alec Burks. Anyways, I love this with Juancho and with Nickeil Alexander-Walker. What he's doing is providing those things that the Jazz have lacked for a while. And he's got long arms. He contests shots. He closes lanes like we saw there. It's fantastic. And so we shouldn't be surprised that on a night that Bojan Bogdanovic doesn't play, we have Juancho instead. The Jazz hold the Knicks to 93 points. It's a big deal. So, yes, you're not getting the 40% three-point shooting and some of the shot creation from two in the mid-range and things like that. That's really nice. But you're making up for it on the defensive end. And you're putting the ball in Donovan Mitchell's hands. So I think some people worry that, if you don't have Bojan Bogdanovic on the floor, you're probably missing out on some of the spacing. Well, guess what? It didn't matter. The spacing's still there, Nickeil Alexander-Walker is the same thing. Offensively, it was not great tonight. He had a bad shooting night. He took 6 shots. They were all threes. He missed all of them. But look at this. 2 blocks. Let's just watch. Actually, his third quarter was nice. I wonder, were these third quarter? I bet you this. Let's see. Doesn't say. Oh, I guess I could watch the actual. Let's see. All right, so first quarter. Oh, I didn't even see this. Look. Oh, strip. Long arms. Really nice. And then look here. Third quarter, right. Yep, I remember this. Third quarter, he's guarding Fournier, who had a good. And look at that strip. I guess they called that a block. I guess it was a shot, so technically that's a block. Interesting. Anyways, he brings that length and athleticism as well, and he's athletic, so he moves. There's 4 rebounds from him, and yes, he was a -3, and that comes from a little bit of the shooting, and that's where, Mike Conley has been big this year. His three-point shooting is Mike Conley's biggest contribution this year, and that makes the offense hum a lot more, but Nickeil Alexander-Walker was, even with 0 for 6, you like the defense from him. Now, he's got to be better. You can't shoot 0 for 6 and start. Like, you've got to consistently hit that 3. Last game, he went 3 for 5. Tonight, he goes 0 for 6. The next step for Nickeil Alexander-Walker, whatever we call him, you've got to have more consistency on the defensive end. He fouled a 3-point shooter tonight, which was not good. And he's got to just be more consistent hitting his shot, and I'm kind of interested that he didn't take any 2-point shots tonight, because I think some of the shots he made on his last game was him getting to the lane and taking shots. But we'll see. He's got some time to grow, and he's in a winning culture that will help him grow. So I like it. Rudy Gobert was fantastic tonight. I did want to mention him. He goes 10 for 12 from the free throw line, which is amazing. They were actually getting him the ball, and Donovan Mitchell was getting him the ball. Like 6 assists. Some of these free throws were from Mitchell getting Rudy the ball and then them fouling him. So really, this 6 assists is not quite as big as it really should be. That's Donovan Mitchell manufacturing points by getting Rudy Gobert these free throws in a lot of situations. 10 for 12. He only takes 3 shots. Well, you don't get field goal attempts when you're going to the free throw line. So this actually would have been a lot bigger. That's why Rudy scores the 14, because he gets the 12 free throws. And shout out to Rudy for hitting 10 and 12. That's big time stuff. And then 9 rebounds and 4 blocks. Rudy Gobert is consistently going to always raise the floor of your team. You are always going to win more games when Rudy Gobert's on the floor. Why? Because what he does on the defensive end, but offensively as well, when you've got this type of efficiency going on, combined with the fact that he's making screens and opening lanes for Donovan Mitchell and other guys who have the ball. It's great. Finally, for the Jordan Clarkson stands out there, Jordan Clarkson has been quietly really, really good for the Jazz since about February. He's been fantastic. The 3-point shot has not been there, and it's still not there. I don't know why it won't come back, but it just won't. But the 2-point shot has been fantastic for him since February, and I wrote about this at SLC Dunk. You can go read the recap if you would like. Jordan Clarkson shot 10 for 18 from tonight, and since February, he's shooting 47% from the field with 31% from 3. So basically, I would say from the field, if he just was taking 2s, he's shooting 50. If you looked at his 2-point shot, and I don't have time to look it up, I bet he's shooting about 50% from 2, which is great. The thing that's nice is that this type of shot making he's doing is him finding those openings and taking that floater that he is so good at. And this type of efficiency is big time. 23 points for Jordan Clarkson tonight. A lot of these are just him manufacturing those points, which is a big deal. And that's why he won the 6th Man of the Year last year. He was fantastic. And he's been figuring it out since February. He's great. Maybe a late push for 6th Man of the Year? Maybe. But you need that 3-point shot to get up there. If it does, he might have some big nights. But 23 points in Madison Square Garden, helping the Jazz get a win, is big. And when you don't have Bojan Bogdanovic scoring, someone like Jordan Clarkson becomes much more important. And in a lot of ways, it like fixes the chemistry, because sometimes I feel like the Jazz have too many cooks in the kitchen a little bit. When you've got Donovan Mitchell, Mike Conley, Bojan Bogdanovic, Royce O'Neale, Jordan Clarkson, Rudy Gay, all these shooters, at some point there's like too many shooters and not everyone's getting the ball. And so then when you actually do get the ball, you're forcing a shot. And I think that sometimes happens with Clarkson, is there's so many shooters that when he does get the ball, he feels like he wants to contribute. And so he might take not quite as good a shot. Well, when you have Juancho Hernan-Gomez and Nickeil Alexander-Walker only taking 12 shots between them, that's more chances for Jordan Clarkson to just do his thing, and we saw that tonight. So nice to see 23 points. Really nice stuff. Rudy Gay had his best game tonight as a Jazz man, because I think he did it on both ends. 4 for 7 from the field, 3 for 6 from 3, 7 rebounds, just really nice stuff. And the defense was there, and that's why you see it. The offensive efficiency combined with the defense, the rebounding, is why he's a team leading plus 23 tonight. So shout out to Rudy Gay, who had a really nice night. Let's hope this becomes more consistent, because it's great. If he can become what the Jazz kind of hoped he would be, it'll be big time for the playoffs. I still really love what he brings. And, we all know Eric Paschall should play more, and I think there should be a shorter leash with Rudy Gay. But Eric Paschall can bring a lot of positives. And when Rudy Gay's not there, I do think Quinn needs to be quicker to put in Eric Paschall, because Paschall's been awesome. He's been really awesome. It's just kind of bizarre he never gets to play. It's weird, especially on a night when you had multiple guys not playing. Mike Conley, Bojan Bogdanovic, I don't know. But I do think Rudy Gay brings a lot of value in the half court. When the Jazz keep things in the half court sets, both on defense and offense, I think Rudy Gay can provide, especially on defense. Offensively, it just hasn't been that great this year. Honestly, it's been pretty bad. But defensively, I think it actually has been pretty solid. And so that's a lot of where the value brings. It's a lot of the reasons why Juancho's value is there, because he's big and he weak side shot blocks, weak side defense, and just provides a big body at that 4 spot that's just hard to score against. Same thing with Rudy Gay. It's just when you have that big body, he's a smart player. He makes the right move. He's got a better offensive game than Juancho. It's great. And so I can see why Quinn probably does that, is because overall in the half court set, it's great. But it's there. And finally, let's give a shout out to Jared Butler, who got 7 minutes tonight, or 11 minutes tonight. He looked really comfortable in a lot of ways. He only took 1 shot, which is too bad, because I think he deserves more. But let's look at these assists. One of these was so pretty. Like, he is just becoming that point guard. There's a little bit of, okay, I want to preface this. I'm not comparing him to Chris Paul, but some of the things he does is a little Chris Paul-esque. All right. So let's watch this here. This is a transition bucket. Butler has the ball. Look at that no look. That was, whoa. He just threaded the needle to Butler. Just beautiful. Beautiful stuff. And then let's see. This was to Clarkson for the finger roll. This is him just giving Clarkson the ball and he scores. But it was this right here was just beautiful. Will it play it? No. That was incredible. Threading the needle to Rudy Gay. His passing is better than I thought it would be, and his handle is really good. He's got a chance to be really good, guys. He's got a chance to be really, really nice, and he just needs more minutes. I really hope that when Trent Forrest comes back, the minutes stay with Butler, because they're really good. And he finds his way, like the reason why it's a little Chris Paul-esque is because there's a lot of times where his handle allows him to find his spots on the floor, because that's why do we get good handles? Because it allows us to get where we want to on the floor, and he's got that yo-yo handle that allows him to like get into the mid-range, find his spots, and then he either passes the ball or he's got a mid-range jumper. He's got potential, guys, to be really, really nice. At worst, I think Jared Butler is the Jazz's version of Jalen Brunson, who can be kind of that point guard off the bench that can score for you, get you 20 points here and there, but that can also just run the offense. And so when Donovan Mitchell's off the floor, or Mike Conley, or whoever is the other playmaker with the starting unit in the future, Jared Butler can come in and be that floor general for the second unit. And who knows, maybe he takes another leap. You never know. Never say never. He looks fantastic to me. I still love everything he brings, and I just think he needs more minutes. He's a shooter. He can shoot that three he shot like 40% or so from three at Butler. Like, he is a shooter, guys, and he'll get more consistent with it. He just needs time. And we're watching him get there, and it's really fun to watch. It's really awesome. I think that's all tonight. Did we talk about everyone? Hassan Whiteside was really good again. Just defensively, he had those 3 blocks that were just really great. Yeah, I'm happy with that. That's a good show tonight, right? Did we go long enough? 40 minutes. There's a short one for you. All right, let's pull up our members and give a shout out to our all-stars. These are the guys that make it happen. These are the guys that just go to the all-star game every year because they just produce night after night after night. They're just incredible. They're amazing. They support the show. The show wouldn't be what it is without them. And I appreciate you. All right, Christian House Money to Haas. Tyson Price, the price is right. Baby Elliott Matson. X marks the spot for Zintas. With Zintas. For Zintas. By Zintas. X marks the spot. Jordan the Goat Best Roll. Joshua Hansen, the Danish Destroyer. And one Anton Warren. Ezekiel Rice Seabay, the man from down under. JT Buckets Wardell. Austin R. Grant. Editor Extraordinaire. Eric C. The C stands for Champion. Donald Schooley, schooling all of us, DW to CB, Darren Williams to Carlos Boozer, Jorge Arrizaga, mi amigo de abajo, Lee Christensen driving the lane, Patrick Akubo, the connoisseur, Robert Hall of Fame. Guys, you're amazing. Jordan the GOAT, best roll, had a question. Let's end on this. Member for 12 months. My goodness, Jordan. Let's see. What seed are we most likely to end up at? My guess is actually it's looking more and more likely that we get that 3 seed with the Warriors losing Steph Curry. The Jazz keep winning. They got a tough game tomorrow night against Brooklyn. But this Jazz team has a chance to be really, I would say the 4 seed. That's my pick. Because I think this Jazz team is winning these games. Donovan Mitchell has taken things to another level. Rudy Gobert looks great. They're winning despite being able to rest Danuel House. Bojan Bogdanovic, Mike Conley got rest tonight. Mike Conley probably plays tomorrow. I could see the Jazz getting a win tomorrow. I mean, Donovan Mitchell's in his hometown. He's going to come out for another big night, right? Another big night for Donovan Mitchell on the way. That's my prediction. A win for the Jazz tomorrow. A win for the Jazz tonight. If you're new here, guys, if you've spent 40 minutes with me and you're new, how have you not subscribed already? Subscribe. The button's right there. Guys, in the comments, let me know what I got right, what I got wrong, what you agree with. Say anything you want for the algorithm. Guys, I will talk to you next time.